All right, welcome back to some more LCK Challenger League VOD reviews. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Takeoff. I've been following the Korean Challenger scene for holy moly, how many years have I been? I think since 2015. Was because I watched. Let's see. I remember the first league. No, it was 2016. My apologies. 2016 was when I first started following challengers. I remember now because that was when ESC, Ever, and MVP were the ones that were good. Stardust before they turned into APK. All that fun stuff. Actually, I like that. I like that name versus APK. But I mean, obviously, sponsors are a thing and all that, and then it became something else. But either way, let's get into what we're actually here for, which is Challenger League. But yeah, I've been following the Challenger scene for a long time. Obviously, my interest hasn't changed because I'm still here, still watching T1 dominate the Tier 2 scene. For those of you that don't know, T1 have pretty much, ever since they've had first formed their academy team, have always been the best out of all the LCK's Tier 2 teams, have always been the best. They didn't compete in the academy final tournament last year because they were preparing for Kespa Cup. But still, we take a look at the standings here. No surprise, we see T1 at the top of the table, Dom1 right behind them. A very big tie for third place between all those teams that you see there. I'm not even going to bother naming them all. And then, of course, Afrika, Nongshim, O2 at the last place. Kind of reflects LCK, doesn't it? But let's go ahead and get into this draft. As usual, we're going to skip to the last pick. Looks like it's Alistar. So we'll just pause it right here. So, bans this time are a little different. We see Talia being banned. We see Aurelia being banned. So we're starting to see teams. This is actually a little earlier than what we see. Usually we don't see teams adapt to. No, actually, what's funny is that Challengers basically used to have a meta of its own because they were the first ones in the world to play the new patch. That's what it used to be. I don't know if it's still that way anymore. But they were always, like, out of any of the leagues, all the minor leagues, all the challenger leagues, all the main leagues, Challengers Korea where they play, like, as soon as patches came out, boom, that's when I honestly thought they were playing on the live server. That's how quickly they were playing these new patches. But regardless, usually they have a meta of their own, but ever since that stopped about, I think, 2 years ago, it basically became, let's just see what LCK runs. We'll combine that with what our players are good at. Combine comfort picks with the Korean meta, basically, is what they do. But as they start to get more into the season, they start to stray away from that. Coaches start to build their own draft theories. And we're going to see that here. It looks like we're going to see that come a little bit earlier than usual. As we see, it's going to be the Camille blind pick. I mean, solid. I think there's I know a lot of people like to play Fiora into Camille, just because it's two hyperscaling split pushers, and Fiora does have the opportunity of outplay with the parry into the hook shot. But I'm sure in a Korean environment, I'm sure that they don't mind blind picking in here. But Lucian being open for blue 1 and them not taking it is interesting, and as we see KT take it red 2. And they also take Nidalee. That's another blind pick that we see, and another big counter response. I'm not necessarily sure if Graves counters Nidalee harder. Well, I mean, I'm sure. I mean, I haven't seen a Graves lose to Nidalee, so I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But I remember people used to be picking Nidalee into Graves. It used to be the other way around in CK early last year. But obviously that was a long time ago. We see Graves Syndra being picked up. I think Syndra is by far the best mid lane blind pick. That Oriana's up there, Twisted Fate's up there. One of those mid laners that, because they're so far back, they don't really die a lot in lane, and there's not a whole lot of hard counters to them. Obviously, with the Syndra, Galio, I think, is one of the better picks against it, just because. But again, that's melee into ranged, and not a whole lot of mid laners can play that well. So I'm pretty sure they're going to put the Lucian mid at this point, because then at that point, it's just going to be two people just poking each other and farming. We see Kaisa being picked up. A little bit of a surprise that we don't see Dom1 pick it up, but is what it is. Second cycle, we see Caitlyn and Aphelios bans for KT. They're trying to ban out potential ADC options. I'm surprised that they don't ban out Samira. I would have banned Samira instead of Caitlyn, or honestly, I would have banned Samira instead of Aphelios. Well, maybe not against Dumb1, actually. My theory is that if an ADC is bad, just let them have Aphelios, because, I mean, if they're bad, they're bad. That's the biggest thing about Aphelios, is that you have to be good at Aphelios to do well in this environment, I feel like, with the state that he's in. And so, I mean, I don't really see Aphelios being a viable ban unless it's against someone that's good at it. I don't know enough about Junmin yet from watching these VODs to know if it's a viable ban, but we'll see. And on the other side, we see Ken and Mordekaiser trying to, you know, just off of these 3 picks alone, you don't really know what their comp's going for. Honestly, I couldn't tell you what their comp's going for, even with it completed. I couldn't tell you what kind of comp it is, but we'll move on anyway. We see the Gragas pick, pretty solid. Obviously, it's going to be going, here, if I were Dumb1's coach, I would have thought I'd be going support, the Gragas pick. But we see the Alistar later on, and we learn that it's probably a Gragas. What are they going to run with that? Gragas Lucian as your solo lanes. That's going to be interesting. But I think it's probably going to be Gragas top, Lucian mid. What am I talking about? But you could run it the other way. You could run Gragas mid, Lucian top, instead of the expected Lucian mid, Gragas top. But no surprise. No fucking idea how they got their hands on this lane. Samira Rel being picked up is just fantastic for Dem1. That is such a good lane. But we do see the Alistar, which I don't know if I would have dedicated that much to Samira, actually, if Alistar was still on the table. Maybe you ban Alistar instead of Mordekaiser here, and then that would have been a really, really good blind pick. But we'll see how it goes. Especially because, like, what are they going to do? Pick Samira if you ban Alistar? They can't do that. You know? Maybe they pick Rel, and then instead you just run Samira, like Samira Leona, Samira Alistar, Samira Pike. You probably want Samira, actually you probably want Leona, just because you probably need more frontline on the side of Dem1. You probably don't want Pike there. But either way, I mean, I don't know. I don't like people picking Samira when the opportunity to pick Malphite and Alistar are still on the table. And it's just, I think it's very poor drafting. Because you're essentially allowing your ADC to get countered, knowingly letting your ADC get countered. So Malring has the blue trinket. Blue trinket. You can't have a blue trinket this early, or a yellow trinket this early, so he can't sweep out that ward that was just placed. But I think, is he gonna go for the recall red? No, he's just gonna walk over. Okay. Oh, did that start up yet? No. Alright, so let's get going. Okay, I don't like this. I've talked about this earlier. I talked about this, I think last time I streamed, actually. I don't like junglers whenever you have a Samira lane, and KT did it too. They're both arriving at the same time. If there's a Samira involved in the bottom lane, especially with someone like Rel, even though you're playing Alistar, you don't want to give them the level 2 spike, because that's how you lose the lane, is by allowing them to hit level 2 before you and then giving them a good window to just jump on you and kill you both. They're capable of doing that, but luckily for KT, Dumb1's going to do the same thing. Valorant's going to ask for the leash bot lane, and they're all going to hit level 2 at about the same time unless something happens here that allows one side to get priority before the other, or if a side concedes level 2 and doesn't feel like trying to rush their own level 2. Ooh, nice trade. Vikla hitting level 2 first in the mid lane. Nice, nice. So it looks like actually Dumb1 aren't able to get to level 2 first, so that's going to hurt them a little bit, but they'll be fine. Let's look at these stats actually while we have it up. 5 KD. Ooh. Ooh, these are very impressive stats for Thanatos. As expected, though. He's 2-0, and it's a bit inflated. KT are 1-1. I think showing stats this early actually can be very misleading. I think I think stats can only be used in the right context, I think. But even with that, I feel like you shouldn't be using stats as any sort of context. You shouldn't be using stats at all until like the end of the first round robin. Oh, because then they've played against every team at least once. Well, like every team once in this case. You don't play two teams twice in the first, or a team twice in the first round robin. But you get what I mean. Well, you used to in the old CK. You'd play one team twice in the first round robin. It was really weird. The season format was really weird. It's because like the first day, or no, the last day of the first split and the last day of the second split were shorter than the rest of the days. Gideon, man, come on. I saw you pop off on Nidalee the other day. That's another thing that's kind of interesting is allowing the Nidalee pick after you just saw him pop off. It was this matchup too that Gideon. Well, okay, so here's the difference. So last time we saw Gideon win this matchup because the other Graves was like doing some cheesy shit early and it just allowed Nidalee to just AFK. Or no, wasn't he play? No, he was playing the Nidalee, yeah. And he just got to scale off of that. But we see Malrang not really doing that, keeping up in farm early on, not wasting time on these ganks. So he is fine. But still, interesting that they're willingly playing this matchup after seeing how it went last time. Shows how confident Malrang is. Or his coach. Or both of them. Or maybe they just didn't watch the match and I have no idea. But Gideon, no surprise, both of his laners have priority as we see. We see here, mid lane priority, bot lane's recalling, so it's a free dragon. And it's only 6 minutes, so that Ocean is actually okay. It's pretty good here, especially considering the laners that you have. You have your mid laner building a tier, as you see your top laners getting bullied around a little bit. But actually, no, he's the one doing the bullying. I take that back. But even so, you like to have that health regen. Didn't Ocean used to give mana regen as well? I mean, it does if you have Ocean Soul, but I think it does. But what? Imagine. I feel like they should do that. They should give it. It should be a very small number, but I feel like they should give it missing. Oh, Malrang getting invaded here. Okay, this is actually really smart by KT. Let's watch this fully. Do they know he's there? Oh, they do. Okay, so let's back it up. Oh, no, they don't know he's there. Oh, this is... Okay, actually, this is just really poorly played by Dumb1. So, they see both of them coming. And they just don't... They're responding to a bot lane, but Malrang's not responding to it. And then they walk back. Wait, why did they walk back? Did they walk back because they figured they were going to die anyway? Yeah, I think... Yeah, actually, Harp... I think he's just dead either way there, and they're just trying to play it under the turret and make a play out of it. Yeah, never mind. I take it back. Walking back there isn't as bad as I thought it was. Ooh. Jewel showing up here for something. I don't know what it is, but he's trying to accomplish something. So just 1-0 for the side of KT. I mean... I don't know. Feels like KT could... I mean, not KT. Dom1 could have reacted sooner. And avoided catastrophe. And all they had to do was maybe give up Krugs. Which is like the least worth jungle camp. They take so long to clear too. Just let them have it. Who cares? Go clear something else. Go past the enemy topside. Oh, your top laner actually is losing, so you can't do that. But, I want to see the replay of that. Noah getting a solo kill on the Samira. I mean, oh, that's a big item difference though. But still, with the Vampiric Scepter, I would have taken this fight too if I were Samira. Like, look at the item, or did he only get that after he... Oh, no, I wouldn't have taken that if I were Samira. Actually, maybe I would have. I'm aggressive and I'm ape brain though. So that shows you that you shouldn't... That shows you how bad of a decision fighting there was. Did he just get jumped on? No choice? Like, did he hit a W? What happened? I want to see the replay. Let's see. And okay, so no, he just lets him walk up, and oh, he goes. Yeah, he goes in. Did he? Oh, he wasn't 6. You weren't even level 6. You don't win that. You're. Did he? I wonder if he thought he was gonna hit level 6 off a minion dying and was just risking it for the biscuit. But that's not worth it. And you don't know where Harp is either. He could have been coming up river. I mean, he had a ward there, but he could have been coming up river. That's just and he eat in. That would have been even if you get the kill there. Maybe he's coming up river with his jungler 1-for-1. That's not worth it. You don't outscale that. This is 11.1 Kaisa still. You don't outscale her going 1-for-1. Even if she only gets an assist. I don't know. Just not a good fight from Jinmin. Who? Actually, I wanted to look up who wins this game, but I'm not going to. I'm gonna go into this unexpected. Let's see. Ooh. It's just getting ganged up on. Nothing you can really do about that. It's like a top laner's worst nightmare is getting like 3-man, 4-man ganked. Because honestly, it's a free source of gold, but at the same time, you have to pick out your top lane ganks at the right time. Because if they did this while Dragon was up, obviously then Dragon goes away. You do this while people are on the top side of the map. They could go really wrong. Free 3-man ganking top lane is free in certain situations. Free man ganking, we should call it that. And it happens a lot in Challengers. I'm just gonna call it that. The free man gank. So we see Noah gonna start farming on the top side. They're pushing a little fast there. A little. Okay. You know what? I hate to say it, and I know a lot of you watch Malice, which is, as a result, means you probably watch LS, which means you probably are tired of hearing this. And I don't like saying it a lot, but I really do think that maybe Noah should have frozen that over here. Like over, can you see my mouse? Yeah, over here. Maybe Noah should have like froze over here, and he just kind of pushed it. Because now look at this, Junmin's getting all this CS. Oh, oh wait, that's already canceled. Never mind. Oh yeah, by the way, guys, if you didn't know that, by the way, watch this. Oh, it doesn't work like that because you didn't put it. Okay, if you fun fact, if you put if the control word's already there, canceling the vision, and then you sweep it, it gives them vision. Like they can see for a brief moment what's going on over there. So, you see a control ward, and it's blocking vision. Don't turn on your sweepers. You're blatantly trolling. Ooh. Okay. I don't know what's going on here. You got 2 different plays on 2 different sides of the map. They're backing off the top side. They're conceding. Oh, they're teleporting down. But I mean, that fight's already over. Oh! Wait, okay, slow motion. A lot's happening here. Let's talk about it all. Let's go all the way back. This is the perfect spot to be watching a normal speed now. Okay. Let's bring it all the way back here. Because there's a lot that happens here. So they think Samira, they're calling people to wait in the river for 2 things. Well, 3 things, actually. They're getting vision control. They're watching out for Junmin's possible rotation. And they want to get that Scuttle Crab. So we see them checking off their checklist. They're putting down vision. Going to be taking some jungle camps as well. Looks like they see Graves on the other side of the jungle. So they're just trading. Now here's where things get interesting. Malrang now is very obviously showing interest in diving. So now at this point, KT need to figure out what they want to do in response. Because you can't just let him dive and do nothing. It's another free man gank, but I guess in this case it's 2. But it's still a free gank, like a free dive. There's nothing Castle can do to avoid death here. So what are they going to do in response? We see some people recalling here. I don't really know why they're recalling. I couldn't tell you. But as we see, that comes in. We see the teleport being pinged out by Jewel. Jewel cancels the teleport here in a moment, which allows this to be a free gank. Really good job by him, but then Vikla goes in because Harp, was he waiting the entire time? Yeah, he was chilling out. He's waiting for an opportunity. Oh, did they? No, that seemed like spur of the moment. I was about to say, did they plan that? But no, the Vikla was like panic pinging. That did not feel like a planned thing. But still, they get a kill out of it, which is really good. So in the long run, they go 1-for-1. If they were planning that, that is probably the like smartest play I've seen in Korean Challengers. That is a really smart play if they plan that out. You know, Keshi. I don't know what the AoE for that ultimate is either, man. It's okay. I won't blame you. It's a new champion, man. You're figuring it out. Next next week, I better not see another one of those. So, I mean, KT making the most out of what they can so far. It's pretty good from them. Gideon is still farming. I like that about him. A lot of Korean junglers feel pressured to like start ganking if the other jungler's ganking. I don't know if it's ego. I don't know if it's their team flaming them. I don't know what it is, but like anytime any jungler is active, the enemy jungler just, no matter what champion they're playing, they could be playing Karthus, and they'll just feel this need to gank. And I'm gonna rewind a little bit because I want to see this fight. And they just feel this need to gank nonstop all of a sudden, but not Gideon. I mean, we still see him farming up even after Malring is ganked a couple of times. So I like seeing that. Speaking of Malring, he's looking to try to secure this dragon over here. So let's see what happens. No surprise, they pop the Herald to put pressure on the mid lane. That's probably where Jewel's going to go. Nope, he's teleporting from behind. So the Herald's just going to get free charges. So that's good for KT. They get that. Did the mid lane tower die? No, it's just really low. So, real quick, let's check summoners. Okay. Neither supports have flash. So that's good. That eliminates a lot of snap engage potential. Neither do the top laners, which they both have really insane gap closing. So there's no snap potential or snap engage potential here in this fight. Very standard warding. Everybody's warding flank spots. They don't want to be caught off at all. Oh, that is a really good. What the? How did they get pressured off so hard? Or did? I don't know, man. Maybe you should Malrang. Maybe you shouldn't. Oh wait, that's not an ult. That's. Oh, I thought he's ulting away. So wait, he doesn't even try to smite it. Does he smite it? No, he didn't even try to smite it. So he basically just handed the dragon over. And they have... Okay. So this is going to sound really stupid. But I think the play here... Oh, no, never mind. I take it back. I'm not even going to finish that sentence. But, man, just... If you're going to get aced, you might as well get the... Actually, I take it back. The play here, I think I take it back. I 100% take it back. If you're going to get aced here... why not just walk forward and try to contest the dragon? You know what I mean? If you're gonna die, if you're all stuck between, like, you have no escape. Well, no, they do have an escape. No, they don't. They don't have any escape paths here. Harp is coming up behind. Keshi's not really stopping him. He can't. So that's a big 3-man WQ right here. 4-man if Thanatos makes, because Thanatos is gonna be forced to walk downward. So it's gonna be a big knock up here. I mean, why not just earlier while they're walking forward? Why not just walk into? Why not just walk into them and try to contest the dragon? Really big ultimate there from Keshi. I like it, but I mean, it's just they were already ahead, and they just got the Infernal Dragon. It's just I don't know. Really felt like that was. I would have probably called to not keep walking. Like they basically just let KT bully them out of that dragon pit and then killed them all. I don't know if I would have I don't know if I would have let myself get bullied around like that. I really don't like, especially Malring not trying to smite the Infernal Dragon, and now they're at soul point. Like that was you. Not only did your team get ace, but you just allowed them to have an immense amount of pressure by putting the game at soul point. So I mean, basically at this point the game. I don't want to say this because I said this with Hanwha Life versus T1. But basically, at this point, the game should be over. The Kaisa versus Samira matchup is 2-2. No surprise, the two most broken ADCs in this patch. This is definitely looking like one of my Samira games. Not a good Samira game. So I mean, let's talk about the theoreticals for W2D1 Kia here, like how the team fights go for them. From like how can you win this? Well, the thing about Graves is stealing dragons, probably one of the easiest champions to do it on. Just because the E is a really good tool to get into Baron, not Baron, or Dragon Pit and steal dragons, and then you can either flash or ult out. The problem though is that they're playing on the blue side, which can be, well, actually, no, I'd say versus red side, it's probably easier to steal dragons on blue side. Blue side, you have to walk into them. Red side, you can just walk over the wall. But it all depends on how KT plays these dragons from here on out. It's definitely convenient for Malring for him to be playing blue side while down on dragons. I love how Zax, like, they'll go here and they'll E from here to here and they'll drive by smite steal. It's hilarious. So, more map pressure being put down by KT with really no response from Damwon. I feel like that's the problem with Damwon this game, is that they're struggling with figuring out how to respond to a lot of things that KT are doing. And they've never really, like, so, not never, I mean, obviously, they didn't finish top of the table, but as of when this game took place, in their first two games, I should say, Damwon weren't really ever in the position where they're playing from behind and they have to respond to, and like they have to make good decisions in response to KT's decisions, or in the other teams, I should say. And this is kind of a new territory for them, I guess, playing from behind. And obviously, so far, not doing too well. They're letting themselves get bullied around in these crucial moments. Poor macro response to KT's macro play. I mean, Baron's being taken, and they're grouping mid. Granted, they don't know they're on Baron, but they have no vision in that area when they should. Like, look at well, great. I mean, I shouldn't really be saying that because it's 20 minutes. You don't really expect them. Actually, no, I take it back. I take that back too. A little pro tip for anybody out there: if you're against a Fed Vayne or a Fed Kaisa, or who else can melt objectives like that, no one really comes to mind besides those two that can, like, completely melt a Baron at 20 minutes if they're fed. But if you're against an ADC that can, Kog'Maw, I almost forgot about him, Kog'Maw. But you don't really see those nowadays. But anyway, if you're against an ADC that is really good at melting high health point objectives early on in the game, always have a way to keep vision on Baron. Because even at 20 minutes exactly, if they're up like this, where they're 10k gold up, of course they're going to take it. Especially if there's no vision. Because you can't walk into there and fight them. You can't just walk up blind for vision if you didn't have vision there in the first place. So as a result, they just get a free Baron. You gotta keep vision there. Did they have vision there? Before I talk shit, I should probably check to see if they even had vision there in the first place. No, they did. Did they clear that ward? Oh, they did clear it. So they know they're there. They just decided not to respawn. Well, that goes back to our original problem. But then again, how do you respond to that, actually? Like I said earlier, you can't really walk up and fight them. I mean, they've dug themselves this hole, I guess. But yeah. Anyway, back to what we were saying. They go mid. They take that. Now it's dragon fight time. Wait a minute. Oh, I thought for some reason I thought it was dumb one taking the dragon. I brain farted there. I was like, how'd this happen? But yeah, Infernal Soul Point, and this game's over. But let's watch it. Nice W there from Noah to make sure he doesn't walk up blind. As a result, he backs off. I don't know, man. This is not looking good. Basically, I like. Okay, no. I really like what Thanatos is doing. What Thanatos is doing is huge brain. What he's doing is he's preventing mid lane minions from even getting close to their base. So KT, they don't have a way to. Well, now I mean they do, but they aren't realizing it. Now they realize it. KT were basically what they were planning to do with that bot lane is they were planning to siege that down while mid lane minions push down naturally, and Thanatos, by proxying there, prevents them from doing that. But I mean, then they just realize we can just walk mid. There's no tower. We can just take the inhibitor, and then super minions will push themselves. And now we can. Well, now they can just take the bot lane tower. Oh, that's a fight. So let's just. How does this pick happen? Oh. So Castle just throws out an ultimate to fish for a pick. He gets it. They fish for another pick. And I mean, just GG. I mean, there's nothing that one, right? They don't win this year, do they? No, didn't think so. Yeah, GG. I mean, what a fucking stompage. Jesus. And like that's not like that's what I like about like Korean stomps versus Chinese stomps or EU stomps or NA stomps is when you see a team stomp in another region, there's a lot of kills. It's just running all over the map and taking shit and just like stomping these team fights. But with Korean stomps, there's gonna be like one or two team like 1, 2, 3 or like about that team fights that are actual team fights, and the rest are just playing the game at your own pace, playing slow, finding the picks, taking the objectives, forcing them to be in a bad spot. It's like slowly squeezing the life out of them versus blowing them up with a rocket launcher. You know? Both accomplish the same thing, but you know, one method's more entertaining than the other. We will be right back with the second game.